Hey Run Buddies, this is a video about Duane and I's trip to Washington, D.C. to do the Rock and Roll Half Marathon. Special thanks to Duane for setting us up with a tour of the White House. That was real cool, man. All I could think the entire time was WTF. Where is the finish? Hey Run Buddies, we're at the Washington, D.C. Half Marathon. It's thousands and thousands of people here. We're going to give it all we got. We ain't leaving nothing in the tank. See you at the finish line. Does this look like a man that knows what he's doing?
Alright, I'll be perfectly honest with you right now. I don't have a fucking clue where I'm at. It would appear we're at the Woodrow Wilson Plaza. But...
Saturday, March 15th, 2025, Washington, D.C. High 59, low 55, cloudy. I woke up at 1:45 this morning, unexpected. I lay awake for hours and thought. Finally got back to sleep about time to get up. Oh well, I slept great the night before. Duane made pancakes. I'm glad he did, as breakfast wasn't open yet. He takes his griddle with him on all trips to have a consistent breakfast. We boarded the metro at Van Dorn Street Station. The metro filled more full of runners with every stop closer to the city. We chatted with a nice local older lady who was running as well. We got off the blue line at Federal Triangle. Wow, what a turnout for this event. If you can imagine 15,000 people in one spot getting ready to run 13.1 miles. The lines for the porta potties were long, but I waited, and I'm glad I did. There's no way I could have made it 13 miles without going. I couldn't believe the time was now. Essentially 6 months of training was all going to be put to work, put to the test right now. A test that you can't cheat on. I should have started off in the corral where everyone was heading out that had a goal of an hour and 45 minutes, the same as I did. Starting off later at the 2 hours plus put me in way too much traffic, and that's why I ended up essentially passing people the entire time. I'll definitely be starting in the proper corral next time. We started off around mid-pack, about 20 minutes after the starting horn blew. I ran with Duane for about a half or 3/4 of a mile before we lost each other in the crowd. The first mile was slow, 8 minutes 34 seconds. My goal was to finish in 1 hour and 45 minutes or less. That means every mile must be 8 minutes or less. The first mile was so crowded and congested, I needed to speed up. The course was beautiful. One of the first things we did was run across the Arlington Memorial Bridge, which has a nice view of Robert E. Lee's former home, and then back. Worked our way back up towards Foggy Bottom, and then to Calorama Heights. At mile 8, coming up to Woodley Park, there was a massive hill, 128 feet of elevation rise and about a quarter-mile stretch. Wow, I had read about it in race reports, and I had just brushed it off, but it was no joke, especially after running hard at race pace for over 7 miles. People were hollering, complaining, puking, walking. There was a drill sergeant at the bottom screaming at everyone to speed up. I made a commitment to myself to keep up a running pace to the top no matter what, and I did, but barely. My vision got splotchy at the top, and my heart rate was through the roof, 190 beats per minute. I had to walk for 20 to 30 seconds to regain my composure, then back to work. I really had to keep an eye on my watch to keep pace at sub 8. I was getting tired. The weaving in and out of folks got tiresome. It's been tiresome. I noticed as the race went on, the distance on my watch had surpassed the mile markers on the course, and it would come to bite me in the end. I didn't eat anything or take any gels on the run. I will try to get used to some prior to the next race. I was just laser focused on keeping pace and finishing. The last few miles are a slog. I was out of gas, but pure pride and adrenaline and determination kept me going and pushing full pace to the end. There were thousands of onlookers cheering all along the way, holding up signs and posters with clever sayings. It was good motivation, but what really kept me going was to pass other runners and to not be passed. I'll strongly bet that not more than 10 runners passed me the entire course. Around mile 10, some fellow in a Buc-ee's costume passed me. It was a good chuckle. When I'd get past, I'd feel defeated. When I was doing the passing, which was a lot, I felt very empowered and proud. I passed hundreds, if not a thousand, other runners during the 13.1 miles.
He's got bleeding
My watch
feet,
turned 13.1 miles at an hour and 43 minutes, but the course was not finished. My heart sank as I realized I was not going to finish the course in an hour and 45 minutes. I charged on to the finish anyway, crossing the line at 1 hour, 46 minutes, and 16 seconds. The longest and shortest 2 hours of my life. I gave it all I had. I slumped over on the gate just past the finish, relieved it was over, but angry at myself for missing my goal by 1 minute and some change. Such a small amount of time, especially if you break it down over the course of 13 miles. I stood at the side and waited for Duane. He wouldn't cross the line for about another 30 minutes. I watched as hundreds, most of whom I passed, came across the finish line, exhausted and sweated and beat down. I felt pretty decent, just disappointed that I did not meet my goal. I dwelled on that fact for the rest of the day, and I'm still upset about it. I tried to talk Duane into pushing for a 2 hour or less time, but he didn't quite make it. I've done hundreds of hours of training and taken time off of work. I'm not leaving a drop left in the tank, not leaving anything on the table on race day, giving it all I got and then some. I'm not glad that I failed, but the lessons learned from failure are much more profound than the lessons from success. I learned to keep a pace faster than the bare minimum. Start at or near the front of the line to prevent so much weaving and passing. Adopt a feeding method that my stomach can handle, that I can do while running. Get up and eat much earlier so I can have a bowel movement long before the race starts. I need to practice hills and practice them when I'm tired. There's so much strategy-wise to improve on, plus slowly increasing my weekly mileage. Pain and failure are the best teachers, and this lesson will be much more meaningful as a result of missing the mark. I grabbed a banana and a bottle of water and found Duane. His feet were all blistered up. I think he needs to get some new
All I could think the entire time was,
but we were all in one piece, thankfully.
Where is the finish?